Paige here. Today is Tuesday, October 24th. And I promised you a video showing what I call a magical way of untangling yarn that does not involve scissors or cutting. So I think what may be a good tangle to demonstrate with. I just came across it. I am working on a Christmas gift for one of my daughters, using, what am I using? Bamboo Fair. So it is, let me pull out the label here. Premier Bamboo Fair. But this method works with any kind of yarn that I've tried it on. This happens to be 60% rayon from bamboo and 40% cotton. But I've used this method on all kinds of yarn. So before I get into it, I want to explain how I came across this method. I like to take on a challenge and meet that challenge and only give up when I feel there's no hope left. So I'm one to work on a yarn tangle for quite a long time until I get it untangled. And a few months ago, maybe a little longer than that, I really don't recall how long it's been, but it has not been a year or anything like that. I had a particular yarn tangle that really was not cooperating with me at all. And I needed to get this particular tangle undone. I think, I must have been on my last skein for a particular project, and I couldn't afford to cut, the tangle out and join again, and that I needed to get this tangle out. And the harder I tried to get it out, the worse it got. So the old adage came to mind. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but it's along the lines of you can't expect a different result by repeating the same action over and over again. So I'm like, okay, so then I need to change what I'm doing to try and get this tangle out. So somehow it occurred to me to try what I'm going to explain now. So here's the tangle. This is the working end. The project I'm working on is over here. And the skein is here. And this is where I'm at. Okay. Okay. The first thing I want to say is, and this is something I discovered quite a while back. The first thing you want to try is to pull on the skein end gently. And a lot of times that will really make a lot of progress undoing a snarl or a yarn barf or a tangle by pulling on the skein end. In this case, that's not working. So this is what I do. Number one, I pretend as though I am a butterfly wing rehabber. Okay, hear me out. Bear with me. So I imagine how I would use my hands and my fingers if my job were to repair butterfly wings, and I would have the lightest touch humanly possible, right? So that's the first thing I do. The next thing I do is, okay, hold that thought. I want to share another little tip. I want to take a little sidebar here and share another little tip so I don't forget. We'll get back to this. When frogging, okay, now we're talking about frogging now. We're not talking about untangling yarn. We're going to move to frogging for just a second because I don't want to forget to mention this. When frogging yarn with a lot of halo, I wish I had something, well, I can demonstrate on this, even though this yarn doesn't have halo. I have found, so normally when we frog, we pull in the direction the yarn came in. What I have found when frogging halo-y yarn, fuzzy yarn, yarn with a little halo, it helps to pull this way. Okay, this yarn doesn't have halo, like I said, but for some reason, the fuzz and the halo is going in such a direction that it works better to pull it this way rather than this way to frog it. Okay, sidebar done. Back to my magical method. This works for me 9 times out of 10. There occasionally you have to get in there and, you know, follow the trail of the yarn strand and do that. But 9 times out of 10, this magically results in the tangle just falling apart, loosening, opening up, and basically falling apart. So number one thing, imagine your job is to rehabilitate or repair butterfly wings and how gentle you would handle that. So that's how gentle you want to handle the yarn. I don't know why, but yarn doesn't like to be pushed around. Let's put it that way. It likes a gentle touch. It prefers to be given suggestions rather than orders and commandments. Let's put it that way. So I hold my pinkies out. This is going to seem totally ridiculous and not real, but this is what I do. Okay. You can try it if you want. You can turn this video off and say that lady's crazy, whatever you want. I'm just sharing what works for me. So I hold my pinkies out. Now here it comes. This is even weirder, but it works. So we have muscles. I looked them up. Radii, brachii, something. Some scientific anatomical name for the muscles that are on the inside of our arms. So when we're standing with our arms at our sides, it's the muscles that are touching our sides of our body. Those on both arms, I find, as long as I'm keeping those disengaged, I'm only engaging the outer muscles of both arms, and I literally hold my elbows up, and I hold my pinkies up, and I touch with the lightest butterfly wing touch, the yarn, and I randomly, I'll do it for you. Okay, here's the working end. Here's the skein end. I randomly pretend I know what I'm doing, but I'm just gently trying to widen the tangle. I'm not trying to take it apart in the line that the yarn is going, the untangled yarn, I'm trying to very gently widen this clump. I'm keeping my pinkies up. I'm keeping my outer muscles of my arms engaged, you know, flexed, in use. The muscles on the underside of my arms are relaxed. And what that does, keeping those muscles relaxed, keeps my fingers from clenching too tightly. And you see how the tangle is relaxing, letting go, dropping, opening up, loosening up. Butterfly wing repair, butterfly wing repair. Okay. A little bit of shaking can help. A little bit of shaking. And it's relaxing, it's letting go, it's opening up. It's not all hanging on to itself. Keeping my underside of my arm muscles not engaged, so my fingers stay with a very light, you know, grip, very light. A little bit of shaking. Get some air in there, gentle, gentle, relaxed. Here comes my working end. I'm getting way more of my working end here. Excuse me, my nose. Okay, I've got more there. I'm just going to kind of lay it, rather than pile it over there on my project, I'm kind of laying it across my project. Butterfly wings. This works really good with acrylic, worsted weight acrylic. I mean, try it with any kind of yarn. And then sometimes I'll sense that I'm getting in a hurry. I'm like, okay, I'm almost done. And I start gripping tighter, or I start pulling harder. I'm not pulling hard at all. Delicate, delicate. Just kind of randomly try to widen the clump, open up the clump widthwise instead of lengthwise. A little bit of shaking. I find that this method actually works better with acrylic worsted weight, because the yarn that I have here, bamboo cotton combination, it has a lot of drape and heaviness, so the weight of it will pull on whatever area is grabbing. So this method actually is a slightly bit trickier with this kind of yarn, but this is the yarn I'm working with, so. Okay, I'm gonna take a little rest. Whew. These muscles are burning, but not these ones under here. They're not working. Okay. I'm gonna get back at it. Delicate, no force, nothing forced. I hope I'm staying in frame. And then every now and then you'll have to kind of look at what's going on a little bit, but patience and a gentle approach. For some reason, yarn responds to that. And I find that I tend to be a tight crocheter, much tighter than I like to be. And so I will think gentle. I will think I am just simply suggesting to the yarn to move through the stitches and the hook and everything. Suggest and just be very light with my grip. It has so much to do with how tightly we hold the hook and the yarn. That's really where tension is. And it makes sense if you think about anyone who sews, who uses a sewing machine to sew, those knobs, how tight those areas in the sewing machine grip the thread affects the tension. It's not about pulling. I always thought it was like about pulling and how tight you wrap around the hook, but it originates from our grip and how light our grip is on the hook and the yarn. And the same goes for untangling yarn. A light grip and the yarn will cooperate much more easily. So this knot is getting much more relaxed, loose. It's opening up. This was quite a big tangle, so this is taking a little while. But I thought this is, I'm in my nightgown, but I decided this is a perfect example to show you guys on. See, now I'm getting in a rush, I'm gripping tighter, and it's not magically relaxing for me. Okay. I'm gonna take another break, but let me show you where we are here. That's where we are now. And the rest, this is going to the project, and it's just laying in kind of spaced apart lines over there on the project. All right, let me take a rest. Usually it doesn't take this long, like I said, because I usually don't have that big of a clump. All right, wait. Rest long enough for the burn to go away on my arm muscles. And also, I'm holding my arms a lot higher than I normally would because the camera is up high. Normally, I'm leaning back in my chair, and yeah. But I'm holding my arms much higher than usual so that you can see what I'm doing. Gentle fingers, gentle, quote unquote grip, gentle touch. It's coming out really nicely now. Okay, this is what we have left. I need to rest again, and I'm going to put my hair up in a ponytail because, where did I put my ponytail holder? My hairband. Where'd it go? Oh, it fell on the floor. Normally I have my fan on. I'm in Southern California. time is it? 5 minutes to 11 at night on Tuesday night, October 24th. And whew, it's warm. Okay, so this is what's left. This is what's left. Pinky's out. Inside arm muscles disengaged, not engaged, not in use, relaxed, soft. And that keeps the fingers from gripping too tightly and bossing the yarn around. I find bossing yarn around makes it rebel and get tight, whether it's stitches or tangles or what have you. It digs in its heels, so to speak. We're down to this. All right, let's take a look at where we are. This is the skein end. Every now and then you stop and take a look. I don't think I'm going to work on this end of the clump. Gentle shaking. And also another note I just remembered regarding halo. There are what I call halo knots. Halo knots. They are, and I'm sure you kind of already know what I'm talking about, but when you're working on untangling a clump and you come across a place where yarn is crossing over and it's sliding in both directions, but it won't let go, that's a halo knot. So what's happening is the yarn isn't tangled, it's the halo that's tangled. So you just pop it apart and the halo breaks. It's just the halo holding those two sections of the yarn together. There's those. And yeah, those, you know, when you find those, then you gently identify what direction to pop them apart in. But we're not going to have an example of that with this yarn because this yarn doesn't have halo. Got hooked on a clip I had there. Oh, my arms are getting tired. I might move the camera down a little so I can put my arms down. Okay. This is what we have. So I'm going to take a look here. This yarn has a teeny bit of a halo. I'm trying to remember if I had a halo knot with this yarn the other day. I can't remember if it was this yarn or a different yarn. This is all we have left of that big knot. I haven't cut it. And I'll show you how what I do with the yarn now that it's untangled to keep it from tangling again. I make what's called a bobbin. It's a way of wrapping it into a figure 8 on your hand, and then it becomes a little center pull bobbin for the section that you've untangled. I learned that method on a Marley Bird video that she put out a few years back. She had a guest on, and this guest showed how to make a little bobbin with your hand, little yarn bobbin. Okay, we're getting real close. This is all we have left. Can you see? Let me show you. We're down to that. This is leading to the skein. This is leading to the project where none of the yarn is tangled over there. All right. Now, I'm still very gently using my fingers, gentle, gentle. This is where it is. All right. This seems to be the last frontier right here. Gentle, gentle. And this is a really long untangle. I never spend this much time on it, but I want to show you guys the final, you know, completion of untangling this tangle with this method. This is all that's left. Right there, this is the last of it. This little thing right here. So we just take a look. Pinkies up. Underarm muscles relaxed. There it is. That's the last of that knot. Okay? Okay, let me show you. I hope. I can't see what I'm doing. Here's the skein. Can you see that? Here's the skein. Here's the... How am I going to do this, guys? I have a mirror here. Sorry, bear with me, please. I can see what I'm filming. Okay, there's the skein. There's the yarn. Comes over here. Here. I have an idea. Oh gosh, that was a lot of moving. Ooh, I'm so sorry. Okay. There's where I was placing the working end. Okay. Oops, sorry. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how I bobbin the now untangled yarn. Okay, so see, I was kind of laying it gently across the project here. So I'm going to find where I am in the project. Where are those stitches? This is the bottom side. Okay. This is where I was. See, remember I was showing you how to frog halo yarn. Okay, so this is, I'm going to use this stitch marker to lock my stitch down, my last stitch down. Okay, I'll just start that row over. Okay, so that won't frog anymore. So what I do, I drape my working end so that it comes off my thumb like this. Then I take the, let me get the project out of the way here. Then I take the skein end and I do a figure 8. I have clips here. Okay, here we go. This is all the yarn that was in that tangled clump. And now I'm keeping it from, ooh, it's relaxed enough. And I'll show you that this does lead to the skein. So I'm just undoing the yarn's most recent kind of clumping there. That's just from kind of transferring it from over there to my lap so that I could bobbin it up. And it's grabbing. This yarn does tend to kind of tangle. And that was a really big tangle clump, so this is a lot of yarn, and it is kind of getting in a little bit of a tangle again already because there's such a long length here that I'm managing. But same method. Gentle fingers, and it just falls apart. Let's go. Gentle fingers, and it lets go. And it works with worsted. In fact, it kind of works a little better with worsted because worsted is, if you could compare it to granola versus Cheerios, granola is heavy and Cheerios float. So cotton bamboo yarn compares to the granola, heavy and dense, and acrylic yarn can be compared to Cheerios, airy, a little bit fluffier comparatively. And there's the skein. So what I do now, got a little bit of a thing there. Normally when I make a bobbin, I don't have a skein on the other end. But what I do is I get a hold of it. Okay, so, sorry. I just jumped on here. I didn't really make a plan. So normally I don't have a skein on the end. I just have like a tail. Pretend this is cut here, just for the sake of the bobbin. So then I would wrap the tail around a few times and secure it, and then I could slip it off and the working end that was draped over my thumb will just come out like a center pull, okay? But in this case, because I have the skein there, I'm gonna do it like this. And then in this case, I'll probably just kind of tuck this into the hole of the skein for now. And let's see if it'll come out. Yeah, it's a little tight. What I'll probably do when I finish filming is I'll take that little bobbin out and just set it right in front of me carefully and crochet up until I get to the skein, and then I'll probably be ready for bed. So yeah, that's it. This video is 35 minutes long, and I have never spent that much time on a yarn tangle using my magic method. It goes much quicker than that. But this was a big tangle, and this was yarn that it just behaves more differently, and it can take a little longer to untangle it. But yeah, that's my magical method that I discovered based on the old adage, when what you're doing isn't working, don't keep doing that same thing, try something else. And so that's what I did, and it worked. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something from this. Thank you for watching and sticking with me through this. And yeah, happy crocheting. All right. Good night. Bye-bye.